Georgia Highlands College has got you covered. With more in-person, remote, and hybrid class options than ever before, you can take classes the way you want from virtually anywhere. Now's your chance to take charge at GHC. Apply now at highlands.edu.
Welcome to Community Watch. I'm Greg Shropshire, and today we'll be talking to Seth Ingram, the Executive Director of the Rome International Film Festival, to discuss the 18th Annual RIFF. Stay tuned. Community Watch starts now. Welcome to Community Watch, and today we're discussing the 18th Annual RIFF, Rome International Film Festivals. And joining me today is Mr. Seth Ingram. And Seth, I know you have a bunch of different titles. Doc normally would write them all down, but I know you are the Executive Director of RIFF, and also you over the studio program, movie program at Highlands. But I'm excited, man, for the 18th Annual RIFF. I hear a lot of big things is coming this way.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great one. We've we didn't know if we were going to be an in-person festival or if there's going to be another virtual festival, but we are going in person, and it's going to be a great time, and we're excited. We got some big guests coming in and a lot of educational workshops going, and another student film academy, and it's going to be awesome. We're looking forward to it. November the 11th through the 14th.
So let's talk about that before we get into the big name guests and all of that jazz. What is RIFF? Can you give us like a brief history, because for those who may not know what RIFF is and how it came about?
So RIFF started as actually it was the Dahlonega Film Festival for 1 year, and then I don't know why they didn't find good footing in Dahlonega, but they brought it to some of the people in Rome, and they saw it as an economic development tool for the city of Rome. So people jumped on it and they started it, and they. I wasn't involved in it in those early years, but it was I attended some of them, but I wasn't involved in the organizing of it. And Harry Musselwhite, he was a professor at Berry College, was one of the early directors of it, and Barry Norman was the guy that actually founded it. And they ran it for a lot of years, and I took over in year. This is my 6th year of doing it. So since my tenure, I just applied, the experience I had with the film industry, and I've grown it immensely since we started it, and it's been great to see the amount of film productions that are in the state. Have all that happened with the tax incentive that was put into place in 2005. So the industry has just really blossomed here, and now it's growing even outside of Atlanta a lot more. So there's a film shooting in Rome, film shooting in Cartersville right now. And we want to see more and more of that happen. Then we launched the film program at Georgia Highlands to kind of help build that crew base. And I know I'm chasing some rabbits here, but it all works together. The film festival is very important to showcasing our community, and it's very important to attracting films to the community as well. So I think it serves as a great tool for students to network and meet some real industry professionals and learn from the best right here in Rome. So anyway, that's. We're in our 18th year now. So
let me ask you this. So the Rome International Film Festival, so in this year, how many films, different films, and all the films, or how many films do you have, and are all of them independent films?
We have 80 something films, give or take. I don't know exactly this year, but it's usually in the 80s or 90s, and that counts all of our short films and everything. Most everything is independent. Yes, we don't have very many studio produced films. We don't have any studio produced films. So yeah, it's all independent this year, and that's the way we like it. I mean, we're not above showing a studio film as an anniversary screening or something like that, if it's pertinent to one of our guests or something like that. But for the most part, we do try to be independent and showcase the best of independent cinema.
Okay. I remember those early days of RIFF and just the buzz around town. I mean, you had the different venues and the different places and different times of day. So it seemed like originally it really tried to check all the boxes and reach everyone. And I know at some point, financially had to kind of scale back some, but I know RIFF is growing again. What are some of the new things that y'all have added to RIFF? Because I know you've grown it somewhat. So what are some of those new things?
Well, we added a student film academy a couple of years ago, and that's been great for the students. We have a student film competition, a local student film competition, in addition to the regular student films that are submitted to the festival. And with that, we just start a day early. We do it on the Thursday of RIFF. We bus kids in from the county and city schools that want to come in, high school kids that are focused on the film industry, that think they might have an interest in the film industry. And we line up workshops on different aspects of the film industry and let them ask a professional anything. So we try to teach them a little bit there, and just kind of, I think everyone thinks that the film industry, especially students, they think that it's all writers and directors and glitz and glamour, and they don't realize that it's called industry for a reason, because it's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of people that go that work on a film to make it happen. And a lot of those are good paying jobs, and there's a lot of the opportunity there. So we're just trying to show that opportunity and build a crew base from our local people here, so that we can have we don't have to bring in people from Atlanta or LA or New York or Nashville to fill these jobs, that we can have our own crew base here working permanently. So we're just trying to get those students focused on what that industry looks like and how they can plug into it.
That's very interesting. Let me ask you, so I know it's November the 11th through the 14th, because I want to keep hammering this on November the 11th through the 14th. So what is the ticket cost, and are all the films been shown at one location this year?
No, we're at two different locations. We're at the Rome City Auditorium and the historic DeSoto Theater downtown. That's where all the films will be displayed at, but we have a lot of other venues for some of our other events, for our parties and workshops and press conferences and some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we kick off on Thursday with the Student Film Academy, which is all during the day, starting from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Rome City Auditorium is where that will take place. And then we have our opening night film on Thursday night, which is the November the 11th at the DeSoto Theater. And that film is, we got two films. There's a short film and a feature film. The feature film is called One Pint at a Time. And it's about African-American brewers struggling to find their place in the world of the craft beer industry. And we're excited about that. They were also having the short film that I helped produce, which is an episodic TV show pitch called 40 Acres and a Brew, with the band Nappy Roots. And Skinny and Scales from Nappy Roots are going to be here for us. And some of the brewers from the movie are going to be here for that event. So we're really excited about that event. And then we're going to have for our VIPs and our festival patron and sponsors, we will have a party available that evening where everyone can kind of network and socialize after the event. But to get your tickets, you can go to riffga.com. There's lots of different ways you can buy a pass. You can get a day pass that gets you into all the films and parties for that day and anything that we're doing, or you can get a festival pass, which covers all of those events, or you can buy just an individual ticket for a movie if you just wanted to see the movie. But those individual movie tickets do not include all the parties and the VIP access and that sort of stuff that you would get with the pass. But there's lots of different ways to plug in to it.
Now, yeah, you was moving, so let's go back. So you said on November the 14th, November 11th, the opening night. I've seen the trailer for One Pint at a Time. Very interesting. And I actually connected with some, they have a Blacktoberfest in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, actually. And I've actually been connecting with some of those people. So when I heard about One Pint at a Time, I'm like, I got to go see that because the history of craft beer and beer making, period. So now that's November the 14th, November the 11th. At what time does the film start on the 11th? The film
starts at 7 p.m. at the DeSoto Theater.
But you have a short film prior to that, correct?
The short film will play after that film. Yeah, okay. And we have one of the brewers coming from the film. The filmmaker is not going to be in attendance from One Pint at a Time. He has they're at another film festival premiere. But we do have Skinny and Scales from Nappy Roots, who are in both films, and then we have a beer from the brewery Firemaker Brewing in Louisiana that's coming up.
Okay. And how much are tickets for individual movies?
They vary. Most of them are $10 for special events, like our marquee events, like our opening night. This one is $15. And it's a little more of for our opening night and closing night films are a little bit more special guest attended films, but most films, all film blocks are $10 unless there's, like we have an event with Billy Bob Thornton We're going to do the 25th anniversary screening of Sling Blade. He's going to do a Q&A after that, and that ticketed event's $20. But then you can buy the VIP pass as well, or whatever gets you into that as well.
And how much is that one? I mean, that's really what we really want to talk about. How much is the VIP ticket?
A VIP ticket for the day is, if you buy one just for a day, any of the days for the festival, it's $50, and then that gets you access to everything, to network with everybody and to go to the parties and all that stuff. Or you can buy the whole festival pass. So it's 4 days at $50, or you can buy $150, gets you into everything for all 4 days. So.
No, that's me. That's me all over. So I'm just thinking about, because as you said, so much is going on. So I want to kind of go back a little bit. So you use a Children's Academy all day Thursday, and then you have the opening premiere that Thursday night. So then going into Friday, what are we looking at?
Friday, we hit the ground running again at 10 a.m. and we got films going from 10 a.m. until our last block starts at 11 p.m. So we're going to have films at both venues going all day long, shorts blocks, feature films, all different kinds. And then just great documentaries, narrative films, all different types. And we'll have a few educational workshops during the day on those days as well, with some of the producers and directors that are going to be here. And then going into Saturday, it's the same thing. We start back over again bright and early in the morning. We have education. We have a master's class from a producer named Josh Russell, who works with a company called Local Cinema Studios. And he's also the head of film production at Western Carolina University. So he's going to be delivering a master's class in independent film producing at 2:00 at the DeSoto Theater. And then we're going to show a film that his students and he worked on, called Bruiser, that's going to play. And then we're going to have some press conferences and some things with some of our guests that day. And we're going to be screening Badass with Mario Van Peebles at 4:45 at the Rome City Auditorium. And that is a film about his father, Melvin Van Peebles. And he is going to be presented with the first ever Melvin Van Peebles Award in honor of his father at the event. So
I'm gonna save you on that. Because I want to get a little bit more into that a little bit later on in that second session. But with the 18th annual, and I guess everybody coming off COVID, and COVID still kind of being out there, are you expecting large crowds for this year? I mean, because last year you had the virtual, but this year, what it's actually been back in person, and with COVID still kind of hanging in the air, or how is that looking for RIFF right now?
Well, we are aware of the COVID, and we are limiting our capacity sizes so there's not maximum capacity, but our venues are fairly large, so you can spread out in there somewhat. And we are encouraging masks for everyone inside the buildings. But we are excited to be back in person, though. It's just not the same doing it virtually. And it's great to have guests in town and the buzz going around when they're actually here and all that stuff. So we're excited to be back in person, but we are being cautious with how we handle things.
And I'm just curious if do you know the economic impact of RIFF historically?
It varies from year to year. I'm not the best economic person. I'm a film guy, not an economic guy, to be upfront, but we have ran some numbers before. And especially the year we had Burt Reynolds, for instance, when we sold the most tickets we've ever sold for a festival that year. And we think we did at least $150,000 in economic impact in the downtown area alone. And that doesn't include, all the guests that might have stayed in outside of hotels and stuff. But I think that we can do better than that. And that's just an armchair person's number. That's not having an economist really do those numbers. But yeah, we think that we look at what South by Southwest has a $350 million economic impact on Austin, Texas. And we feel like we don't feel like we're going to be South by Southwest, but who knows? We could be, and we could have a huge economic impact, and that goes a long way in a small town.
Oh, yes. Well, I know we're coming up on our first break, but when we come back, we'll talk more. But we're joined today by Seth Ingram, and we're talking about the 18th annual Rome International Film Festival. Don't go away. Community Watch will be right back after this.
I know you've had your moments of doubt and struggle, and I'm here to say I'm proud of you.
And although each one of us may take a different path, may we look back upon today as the moment we stepped into a larger world, a greater world.
You will pass this way but once. Do it right.
If ever there was a time to follow your passion and do something that matters to you, now is certainly that time.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and once again, we're talking about the 18th Annual Rome International Film Festival with the Executive Director of RIFF, the Rome International Film Festival, Mr. Seth Ingram. And Seth, before we went to break, you mentioned, even though the first part, you mentioned first, I do believe that Billy Bob Thornton will be here to do a Q&A after the 25th year, I guess 25th year anniversary of Sling Blade. That has to be huge by far. It has to be one of the biggest stars.
Yeah. I mean, definitely one of the biggest stars we've had outside of Burt Reynolds. I think he's probably the second biggest name that we would have had as a guest in attendance. And we're excited about it. I was a huge fan of that movie, and I'm looking forward to, I haven't watched it in a long time, so looking forward to seeing it and then doing the Q&A with Billy Bob afterward and talking about it and talking about his career and all that kind of stuff. So we're very excited about it.
Well, actually, I did watch Sling Blade, but actually I'm more of a fan of his current series on on Amazon Prime, Goliath.
Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, I watched I think 3 or 4 seasons of it. So
and I know you're a bad Santa fan too, right?
Oh, yes, sir. So I'm a fan of his work, but I mean, I think that's huge for Rome, the fact that the International Film Festival is starting to draw some names like that. Even going back to Mario Van Peebles, I mean, who is in his own right, a star in his own right. So that has to be very interesting, but to be receiving the award in honor of his father, who a lot of people may not realize was the first Black to do a lot of stuff in film. Oh, yeah. Historically, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but he was huge to cross the color line in a lot of things. It was really almost a genius, his dad was.
Oh, it's just fascinating when you see the film that we're showing, Badass, which is about him, and you don't realize this is a man that wore so many different hats and did so many different things. You think if he was just someone that was just telling you this, you would just think he was a liar of all the kind of accomplishments that he had in his life. And he just walked away from the film industry when he was almost about to break through on a big level, and then he just got bored with it and then wanted to come back. But he's a fascinating story about him, and I don't think enough people know about Melvin Van Peebles, and so we're gonna educate some with the film and Mario being here, and I think this is great for him to receive that first ever award, and we're going to have a special person presenting that award yet to be announced too. So.
Okay, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I'm getting jitters because I'm excited about what's coming. And then I do believe you have. So we have Mario Van Peebles, we have Billy Bob Thornton. Any other major movies that or guests you're excited about coming this year?
Yeah, well, on our Saturday night film, we were going to have Tim Blake Nelson with us, who is another big actor, the star of this movie, Old Henry, which is a Western film that's playing. And I don't think he's going to be able to attend with us, but the director is going to be here and the producers are going to be here for that. And that film is great. It was filmed during the middle of the pandemic in Tennessee, and it's a Western film. And he's getting a lot of Oscar buzz for his performance in that. So we're very excited about that film. I'm excited about all the films. We talk about the celebrities, but this is about the filmmakers. It's not just about the glitz and glamour and the celebrities. This is about celebrating all the filmmakers, whether they made a 5-minute film or if they made a feature film. We try to treat them the same and show them a great time and celebrate their work. And that's what we want the festival to be about, is focused on the art and the filmmakers.
Now, in saying that, how many local films do we have actually?
We have a few. I think there's 3 or 4 in there, local films, and it varies from year to year. But we have a clock tower block, is what we're calling it, on Saturday morning, and there's a documentary, a short documentary made by a filmmaker from Rome, Austin Wiggins, who made a documentary about the history of the clock tower, and then he has another documentary that he's made called A Soul-Filled Life, but he's a local filmmaker that has films presence at the festival this year. And but it just varies from year to year. We do have some student films from Cartersville and the surrounding areas. So we try to be a regional festival and pay attention, especially with the short films. But the feature films are kind of all over the place. We do want this to become more of a Georgia focused festival, or about highlighting Georgia filmmakers or things shot in Georgia. So that is one of our initiatives going forward, is to become more Georgia focused on that note. But currently we still we have international component as well, and we have the Billy Bob Thornton has shot a lot of films in Georgia, but Sling Blade was not filmed in Georgia, but he has shot several films in Georgia. We asked him what he wanted to show when, and I was pushing for Jane Mansfield's Car, which was filmed in, a lot around this area, but he wanted to show Sling Blade. So we're going to go with Sling Blade.
I'm also curious, is that part of the goal as well? I know you said to be Georgia kind of focused, but also what about creating a space for more local artists to showcase their films?
Exactly. And for those voices that aren't often heard, I think that, that's part of building the educational component. As you build that, yes, we want them to go make money and work on sets, but we also want them to use their voice to make, new stories that represent our area and from all different backgrounds. And we want to support those filmmakers and, do some grants and help facilitate their works and then highlight their works at the festival. So we would love to see some of we'd love if Georgia to have a voice, in Rome, Georgia, particularly. When you think of music scenes, oftentimes you think of that particular city has a vibe or a sound about it. And in film, there are some cities that are known as filmmaking towns or film-friendly towns. And we want Rome, Georgia to become one of those towns where, it's very supportive of film and where it can have its own unique voice and storytellers can come from here. And so Lewis Black, who's joined our team, who is the co-founder of South by Southwest, he's very adamant that that's the way to do it, and kind of follow that model that he did in Austin with the South by Southwest Film Festival. So we definitely want to push the educational component and building up our own filmmakers.
I'm curious, with the last couple of years, or even the last year, we've had a lot from the January 6th riot to Black Lives Matter, to shooting and the trial of people like Ahmaud Arbery. So we've had a lot in this past year. Or any of the films trying to capture any of that energy or capture what was going on around those things?
I don't think we have anything that's specifically that overtly, maybe politically focused, but we definitely have some things that we were purposeful that try to bring awareness to different communities and from different perspectives. We're very focused on making sure we have representation in the voices and in the stories told. And sometimes we get a lot of documentaries submitted to us. We had, I believe we had around 700 submitted this year. And from those, we just had to pick and choose from a lot of what's out of the submissions, or go curate something. And we like to draw as much as we can from submissions. But you just have to take kind of what you have. It's not that we don't want those films. It's just that we didn't have any of those submitted to us, perhaps. But we do have a lot of different communities represented, and we're quite proud of that.
Now you said 700 films. So exactly what is the process for kind of narrowing that down to what you end up with? Because I think you said usually around about 80 or 90. So that's going through a lot of films to come up with that, to create that list. So what's that process like?
Well, we have a team of volunteers, screeners, that we try to, people that we know have a strong background in film or opinion of film, and then we just get people to watch movies, and they give them ratings. We kind of train them on how to do the rating system. We have a platform that we go through and we rate them all, and they go through rounds. And then we like to say, all right, these are the ones that are going to move up and going to move up and going to move up. And then there's also a component about, we might have a lot of really great films that all cater to a certain audience. And then, so that makes it tougher for that category if we only have, so many, if we only have one or two animated feature films, then those have a much better shot than, the other 100 live action narratives that we have. And then we get the foreign films as well too. So it's hard. It's a hard process because it's hard. People think they want to be film screeners, and we get a lot of volunteers that think they want to do this, and they realize how hard it is to watch all those films and to whittle them down. And then my wife, she loves it. She does the short films, and she watches every single one of them. And she's been doing it for years, so she's gotten really great at it. And she's our shorts film programmer. And I handle a lot more of the features. And then we have a team with Lewis, and we brought on Michael Dunaway this year, who's helping us out. He was the former director at Sarasota Film Festival and at Portland Film Festival. So, it's just been great. And we have a film called 18 and a half this year from Dan Mervish, who is a co-founder of Slam Dance Film Festival. And this film is about the 18 and a half minutes missing in the Nixon tapes, the Whitewater tapes. And it's a narrative film, but it's a fun film.
Now, question. One thing I know I've missed over the years, back in the day, I used to have this huge catalog with all the films, the different venues. So how can people access where everything is and the time to be shown?
Well, you go to riffga.com. Now we have that internet, and you can pull it up on your phone. Your film schedule, complete film schedule is there. We still do a limited run of the printed brochures. We have them out at the festival, so it's keepsakes and people can pick them up. But we try to keep as much of it as you can online, just for various reasons. But riffga.com. We click on the film guide, and it'll have all of our films listed right there with the times and how to buy the tickets.
All right. We got about 3 minutes left, so I want to go back. So once again, the Rome International Film Festival is November the 11th through the 14th. Tickets, you can purchase tickets on riffga.com. The opening day, actually, you said starts that morning with educational workshops, the Students Academy. What is it called?
Student Film Academy.
Student Film Academy, and ends with the one pint and a short story that night.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm just curious. So I'm excited, but I sense this is a labor of love, though, because there's a lot going on. And I know when we come to these type of events, it seems easy, like it just people just put it together. But I'm like, man, you have to be really kind of at your wits' end by the time it actually starts.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage. It's putting on a 4-day event, a lot of communications, and we do it on a mostly volunteer staff and on a very modest budget. So, but we're going to try to grow this thing, and it is definitely, I am passionate about film and filmmaking, or else I wouldn't do it. But I'm also passionate about community, and I like where the two bridge together. And I like the idea of the community coming together and having a shared experience as well. Be it for whatever film we're watching, and there's different films that, obviously invoke different emotions with the group. But I like that shared experience, and I want to see this community come together and really get behind this festival. We've been around 18 years. Most festivals don't make it that long. They aren't here to stay. So I think that we're doing well, and we're excited for our 18th year and looking forward to what's to come next.
And tickets prices again range from $10 for a single film up to a VIP pass for all 4 days for $150, correct?
That's correct.
So people can find whatever they're looking for within that price range. We have 1 minute left, Seth. Is anything in particular you would like to say to the audience about this coming RIFF?
Well, I would like to say come out. Just come out, and it may sound intimidating, a festival. How do you do it? You don't know how you see so many options. How do you pick and choose? But just come out, just throw yourself at this festival, attend it, go talk to the filmmakers, be there. You will have a great time, I promise you, and you'll be excited about it. But I think a lot of people just don't know how to plug themselves in to this, but it's just come watch movies and hang out and talk to people and just experience it. And like I say, it's a shared experience, and we want it to be a very broad, diverse section of our community, and we want everybody to come together and build strength from that.
All right. Well, thank you once again, and want to thank you for joining us on Community Watch. Seth, good luck, and we'll see you next time on Community Watch.